Welcome once again to SoCo Chat, a podcast where we hear directly from county leaders, discuss the latest news, and talk about all things concerning our beautiful corner of California known as Sonoma County. Welcome back to SoCo Chat. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming presidential election. We'll be discussing the voting process itself, what goes on behind the polling centers, and most important, why voters can trust the security of our voting process. I'm your host, Paul Gullickson, Communications Manager for the County of Sonoma. And joining us for this discussion, we have none other than Deva Marie Proto, Sonoma County's Clerk-Recorder-Assessor and Registrar of Voters. But before we get to our interview with Deva, I want to start with our trivia question contest, some updates. We have a winner to announce, as well as a couple of answers to past trivia questions. We're kind of catching up on some of those. Our most recent winner is Marta Lamas of Sonoma County, who correctly answered our trivia question, which was, who was California's first and only governor of Latino heritage? The answer is Romualdo Pacheco, a Santa Barbara native who served as California governor from February to December in 1875. Pacheco was not only the first and only Latino governor in California history, but he's also believed to be the only governor to have lassoed a grizzly bear. But that's a story for a different time. So we also have another winner to announce, and that is Jack Mullins, also of Sonoma County, who correctly answered the trivia question on our opioid epidemic episode. The question was, which U.S. state has the highest opioid overdose death rate? That's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The correct answer is West Virginia, which has a per capita death rate of 80. California we struggle with the issue, but our death rate is more around 20 per capita. Marta and Jack, congratulations! Thank you for listening and responding to our trivia questions. We also appreciate the feedback and hope to incorporate some of those ideas you gave us in future episodes. So we always appreciate the feedback. And now for our trivia question for the day, which also relates to our conversation. The question is this: what county in California had the highest turnout of registered voters in the last presidential election in 2020? If you know, call us at 707-565-2242 or email us at publicaffairs, one word, at sonoma-county.org. That's publicaffairs@sonoma-county.org. And if you're correct, you'll win your choice of one of our SoCo Chat items, including a mug, a hat, or our new SoCo Chat water flasks. So with that, we're here to talk about what Sonoma counties can expect this November, and our expert on that subject is with us right now. Deva, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we always appreciate our conversations, and nothing starts more conversations these days than the election. We're just 5 weeks out, 6 weeks?
Yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah. Well, tell us, what are you expecting in terms of, let's talk about voter turnout for the upcoming presidential election. What are you thinking for Sonoma County?
I'm thinking that we're probably going to get in the 85 to 90% range, just based on historical turnout for presidential elections. So in 2020, we were just north of 90%, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we were a little bit lower in 2016. We were about 86, 87%.
Okay.
But in 2008, I believe it was, we had a 93.4% turnout, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
So we have a very engaged population here, and we're very lucky that we have the turnout we do. We routinely beat a lot of different areas in the state, so we're always
right up there.
Yes, yeah. We're always not always the top, but always in the top number of counties in terms of turnout.
Well, why do you think that is? And you've been here a while. Why do you think civic engagement is so high here in Sonoma County?
I think we just have a wonderfully engaged population. Statistically speaking, we do have an older population, which does tend to have a higher turnout.
Okay.
And be more engaged in voting. But from what I've seen, we have just so many passionate people here in Sonoma County that are really engaged in their communities and really want to show up and vote and make a difference.
And not only that, help out, right?
Yes.
You get quite a number of volunteers to help at the polls, right?
Yes, we've been very lucky. We have a lot of people that come back and a lot of people that have been here for years and years. And then we always get new people. We have not struggled like some areas of the country and some areas of the state
Hmm.
in terms of not having enough poll workers. We've been very fortunate and we have a lot of great
Yeah,
volunteers.
well, that I love seeing the workers out there, and I love always talking to them. So, voter guides went out at the end of September.
Yep.
You got ballots are going to come out when?
They will drop in the mail on October 7th, which is a
Okay.
Monday. So they should be hitting the mailboxes a couple days after that.
Hmm.
The mail service usually prioritizes those. So I would expect them within a few days.
Okay. And what else should local voters be aware of as they prepare for this year's elections? Are there other timelines coming up or deadlines?
I think the most important things would be that those ballot drop boxes, if people want to return their ballots, they will be open really as soon as those ballots go out. So those will all be open on October 8th.
Okay.
And then our in person locations on October 26th, we'll have 7 locations that will open for in person voting. So that includes Petaluma, Cotati, 2 here in Santa Rosa, Sebastopol, Healdsburg, and Sonoma. And so voters can go to those starting October 26th. They can cast their vote in person, they can drop off a vote by mail ballot. And then on November 2nd, we'll have 24 more locations open. So that'll be 31 total all across the county.
Hmm.
People can vote in person from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at any
Hmm.
of those locations. And then our ballot drop boxes are 24/7. They can drop off their ballots.
Well, let me take a step back here because we know that there are a certain percentage of voters that only vote in presidential elections, and there
Mhm.
are some things that are different than the last time we had a presidential election. So we
Yes.
have voter choice now. So
Yes.
explain that. Everybody gets a mail-in ballot now. Is that right?
Yes. So all voters, all active registered voters will
Hmm.
receive a ballot in the mail, and then they can return them multiple ways. You can also go to any vote center in the county as opposed to your own assigned polling place like we
Hmm.
used to have. So if you are living in Cloverdale, but you're commuting to Santa Rosa for work, you can go into a Santa Rosa location and get the ballot that
Hmm.
has your Cloverdale races on it.
Hmm.
So it's a little more convenient to the voter. We also have the expanded in person days so that people can vote early. They can vote on the weekend when it's more convenient to their schedule.
Yeah, and of course they can always just fill it out and put it in the mail, like
Yes.
what we used to call absentee vote, right?
Yes. And we're just letting people know just put that in the mailbox early, make sure that gets back to us. If it's getting close to election day, use a ballot drop box or make sure you take it into the post office and get it postmarked.
And that way you can assure that your vote's going to be counted as long as it's postmarked in time or dropped off in time before the.
Yes,
Is that right?
as long as we receive it before 8 p.m. on election night,
Hmm.
we will definitely be counting it as long as everything matches up, your signature passes and everything.
Right.
We can also receive it up to a week later as long as it's postmarked on or before
Correctly
election day.
postmarked. Yeah, but if you want to make sure it's counted by election night, you want to get it in.
Get it in
what, a week early.
and then we'll have good results on election night. The more ballots get sent in early, the better those results will be.
Well, and the great thing is you now have a system where you can be notified when your ballot has been received and when it's been tabulated. Right? I love that.
Yes. The ballot tracks, the Where's My Ballot is a fantastic service that
Hmm.
people really enjoy. So people who have not signed up for that, they should go to where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov and they're able to sign up. They'll get text messages or voicemails depending on their preference.
Yeah.
And they can get notified where their ballot is every step of the way and get confirmation when we've declared that their signature matches and that it's going to be counted.
It's like getting a FedEx or an Amazon package. You get these little notifications. Well, it's been received. It's being counted. Now it's being. It's great. I love it.
Yes, we get a lot of compliments on that. And
Yeah.
luckily that's statewide. So
Yeah, that's great. Point of clarification. If I'm, for example, if my wife and I are filling out the ballot, and I'm going to drop it off, I can take her ballot, right? if she fills it out at home, we both fill it out. She wants me to drop it off because there's a drop box near my work. I can drop it off for her, correct?
That is correct. There's a little portion of the ballot envelope that you should fill out
And
to authorize someone else to return the ballot. But yes, you're eligible to drop that ballot for her.
mhm. And can I do that for my neighbor too? I know there's a little confusion about that.
Yes, you're able to as long as they fill out that authorization.
Yeah, and so as long as it's authorized by somebody, you can do that for
hmm
yeah, because I used to do that for my mom too, and she didn't drive as much. But well, is there anything else that's new or different from previous elections that you want to let people know about? Are there expanded language assistance and accessibility improvements that you've made?
Yes, since the last couple of elections, we've had different language requirements. So, based on the 2020 census, we did become a bilingual county.
Hmm.
So, all of our materials are going out in English and Spanish. So,
Okay,
the
great.
ballot is bilingual as well as the voter information guide.
Okay,
We do have bilingual assistance at all of our vote centers.
okay.
And then we do have our accessible ballot marking devices available for everybody to use in both English and Spanish. And you can have the ballot read to you. You can use a touch screen if you have difficulty maybe holding a pen or something like that.
Hmm.
And then we also have other language assistance at the vote centers through a program with the Secretary of State. So if there's more obscure languages, we have Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Khmer speakers here in Sonoma County that are designated. We'll have facsimile ballots at our vote centers, but then we do have language assistance in other languages as well.
Yeah, that's great. And to clarify, that the voting centers are kind of like the old polling places. You can go there and vote in person, or you can also just go and drop off your ballot there, right?
That's correct.
Okay, okay. And there's people there to assist you, like you said, if you need language assistance or questions. Should they call the registrar of voters, or what should they do?
They can call our office, they can send us an email, or they can go into a vote center and ask questions, and people should be able to help them. If they don't know the answer, they'll be able to call our office.
Yeah, and if there's any problem, they can get a provisional ballot or something along those
Correct.
lines. And yeah,
Yes. People can register to vote at the vote centers now and get a lot of, if they need a replacement vote by mail ballot, or like you said, vote in person or drop their vote by mail ballot off.
yeah, that's great. The options are terrific. Well, without getting too political here, I think it's fair to say there's some candidates out there who are still calling into question the integrity of our election process nationwide, even casting doubt as to whether the public can if they can trust the outcome of this election or the results of 2020. But how do you respond to those contentions? I know safety is integrity of the election process is very important to you, but how do you respond to those?
We try to be as upfront as possible and as transparent. We've added a bunch of transparency measures to our office. We now live stream our ballot counting, as well as what we call our extra help room and our sorter room, so people can see the activities that are taking place with the ballots. I think a lot of people don't understand how heavily regulated elections
Hmm.
are, how many double checks there are on the information on the ballots.
Hmm.
Our systems are really designed to make sure that no voter is casting two ballots,
Hmm.
that only registered active voters are receiving a ballot in the first place.
Hmm.
And like I said, we try to answer the questions, alleviate the doubts, and we do get people who bring concerns to us. We do our best to address those concerns. People have got voter records where they're bringing concerns to us, and we'll research those concerns. We'll take action as appropriate.
Hmm.
But, we try to make it an interactive process and make sure people understand that we do work really hard to make sure that the elections do have integrity, do have safety. And, I'm very proud of the work that we do in the state as well as in our office here in Sonoma County. So,
And you have procedures in place to check for fraud and to make sure that the people are authentic, that they're actually who they are when they vote, right?
yes, yeah, we make sure that voter records are bounced off the DMV and Social Security databases through the Secretary of State's office. And if there isn't a match, people do have to show ID as a first-time federal voter.
So you will actually reach out to them and say, "Hey, we have a problem with your ballot. Can you come in?"
We will reach out to ask for more
Okay.
information. If they're a first-time federal voter, they'll actually get a letter in the ballot that will
hmm
say we need additional information before we can process this ballot.
hmm
So
So, but are there other challenges you're facing this year as we get ready for the election?
I think just making sure we have a lot of contingency plans, making sure that, we're not running out of paper or don't have enough staff. We want to make sure that the voters all have a good experience. And so we're just trying to think of all the scenarios and make sure we are prepared.
Well, it's going to be exciting, but I know you're up to the challenge. Do you have any final messages to voters as we get ready for this big election?
I
We're a month away.
a month away. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. I think the biggest thing is just make a plan, know how you're going to vote. Don't wait to the last minute.
Yeah.
The ballot is pretty big.
We
this
have a lot
year.
of local. We haven't really talked about what's on the ballot
Yeah.
besides the presidential race, but
Yeah, we have a number of local races. We have a lot of local measures, so a number of state measures as well. We do have 2 U.S. Senate races on this ballot,
mhm.
so people can vote for both. One is the remainder of the current term where somebody was appointed,
All right.
and then one is the new term that
Right.
starts in January.
Yeah.
So we do often get a lot of questions when there are 2 contests like that on the ballot, so people can vote for both.
Yeah.
We also have, I think, 10 state measures, propositions. So I think all of the ballots are 2 18-inch double-sided ballots. We're lucky we didn't go over that, but and we have 124 different ballot types.
Oh,
So
I don't know if people really appreciate how complex it is because you have all these small districts, school districts, special districts, congressionals. That you have odd combinations at times.
yes. Yeah, so it winds up being 124 different configurations of races and contests on the ballot. So it's not one for the whole county.
Right.
It's definitely quite
Yeah,
a lot.
people can be across the street from each other and get different ballots depending on
Yes.
where they live, right? Or
Yeah.
where the property lines are drawn or the district lines are drawn.
Yes. And and we have some precincts that are very small with only a few people in them just based on how those districts cross
Right.
over.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, you have an excellent team, and I know you'll handle this well. But I wish you good luck on this.
thank you.
We wish good luck to everybody. If you do have questions, be sure to go to now it's socovotes.com. Is that the
Yes.
best website to reach out to?
Yes, they can get a lot of information about where the vote centers are, the hours of operations, our ballot drop boxes, the deadlines that they have to be aware of. If people have any questions, they can call our office. We are happy to help. But yes, go to socovotes.com and make sure that you're getting the information from us. Don't necessarily trust deadlines you're seeing elsewhere. We're
Right.
going to be the trusted source for that information.
Yeah. And as you said, don't wait till last minute. We do have long would you say 2 double-sided actual
Ballot cards, yes.
ballot cards? Yeah.
So there's a lot of information
And
and
make sure you flip those cards too. That you
yes.
vote on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, lots of good information. Thank you so much for being here. We always appreciate your visits. And as a thank you, we know you have a SoCo Chat mug because this is your second visit
Yes,
to
and
us.
I love it.
So we're going to give you your pick of a hat or a water flask, or you can have another mug. It's up to you. But you don't have to decide now. But we do appreciate you being with us. And remember, Sonoma County, the election is right around the corner. So get informed, get ready, and make your voice heard this November. Again, you can learn more at socovotes.com. And again, if we'd like to give you a chance to win one of our SoCo Chat hat mugs or water flasks, your pick. If you're a correct answer to today's trivia question, and the question is this: What county in California had the highest turnout of registered voters in the last presidential election in 2020? If you know, call us at 707-565-2242 or email us at publicaffairs@sonoma-county.org. Be the first, and you'll have your pick of one of our prizes. Also, if you have comments about this or any other segment of SoCo Chat, or have a suggestion for a future episode, please call us at that same number, 565-2242, or email us at publicaffairs@sonoma-county.org. Thank you all. We hope you continue to follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and YouTube. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, and see you at the polls. Thank you, Deva.
Thank you.